Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Talks. I am so excited today. I am actually having us have the very first guest. I've never had a guest on Tuesday Talks before, and there's just no one else that I would rather have start this out than Trey and Gina. Like, if you guys saw the Creative Nomad podcast that we did not too long ago, you know that they're just such a phenomenal couple that are out there just changing things. They totally, in a conversation, partly you guys saw online, and the other part of it you didn't. But in one conversation, he changed everything I'm doing right now is really based on stuff that we talked about in that conversation. So, and then a few other conversations that I had with friends literally that week that just our conversation prepared me for. That's all there is to it. So without further ado, I'm going to give it up to those guys and let them talk, introduce themselves, let them know what's going on in their world, and I will be back in the end. So you guys have fun.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for the intro.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be live with you. I'm Trey.
I'm Gina.
And we're the founders of Wave Enterprise. We're a multimedia audio and visual boutique studio. We service female entrepreneurs in the wellness space predominantly, even though we still service a wide variety of individuals as well, but mostly entrepreneurs. And we're here to talk about everything audio visual, everything being a digital nomad and how to do it, some tips on audio visuals and all the above. Let's see what we can fit in 30 minutes, but we could start with our story.
Yes.
I'll let you take away on that one.
So we can start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I used to be a third grade teacher. I did that for about 4 years, and he was in sales and management. And so we were both in corporate in Atlanta, Georgia. And, you know, I was getting so many gray hairs from my students. I loved them, but it was just really stressful. And, you know, I was coming home complaining, just not really loving it, not loving what I was teaching either, not agreeing with some of the things I was teaching.
Same with me. I wasn't loving what I was selling.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really loving just the corporate dynamic. It was kind of weighing heavy on both of us. She came home one day and was like, let's travel.
And I always wanted to travel when I was in college, and it just didn't work out. So yeah, I just came home and was like, let's just go somewhere else.
Not just travel. Let's move. Let's take everything and move. And I was in a space where I was just like, okay, how do we do this? How do we plan for it? So that's kind of one thing we want to touch on is our transition to actually traveling. What was the steps that we took to actually fully go remote working, fully go and actually make this a reality. And it took us, I would say the preparation took us 6 to 8 months to actually solidify, maybe 9 months to actually do it and move.
Yeah.
But we did some careful planning. Once we were like, okay, we're moving across the world. We're picking up everything. How do you do that? Sounds like a dream, but we broke it down into bits.
Yeah. And I think the biggest part that really helped solidify our vision and our goal of moving to the Philippines was watching these vlogs every day and seeing what the Philippines was like.
Backing up, we chose the Philippines. You were like, okay, we're going to the Philippines. They speak English there. We don't know.
I forgot.
Yeah, we got to tell them where we're going. But we don't know anyone there, but they speak English. We can have Manila as a hub, go to the beautiful islands. There's 7,000 plus there. And so, okay, we're watching these vlogs about the Philippines. There's just crystal clear water.
Yeah. And we were like, oh my gosh, we can't wait to live here. We were really just visualizing it. And like, he would even play ocean sounds in the background, you know, while we were just like going about our day. And so that kind of really just solidified our vision and our goal of moving across the whole world. And another thing too, that was really awesome is like the process of packing everything up and just really decluttering our life. You know, you accumulate so much throughout the years. And then when you go to move, you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many things.
Or your things are the exact things that keep you from moving. You're like, I have all this stuff. I have a house, I have these cars, I have all these things anchoring me down. Sometimes those are the things. We were blessed that we were in a position where we're still newlyweds. We're a couple years living in Atlanta. We didn't accumulate too much, but it was just a couple years.
We had a lot of coffee mugs, and I was like, all right, we don't need all these.
We have all this Christmas stuff. We have all this stuff. So we went through a phase where we were just stripping away things. The things build up, they do. And we didn't even realize it until we were moving to the Philippines. We're like, we accumulate so much stuff. So and
it feels good to just let it go, even if you're someone who's not going to be moving across the world, but just decluttering your space really gives you more space to
welcome things. That's very true. And a more tangible logistic about our thing is we did Airfordable. Airfordable is a website where you could pay monthly towards tickets. So if you're like, oh, I don't have all this money to buy my flights right now. We didn't at the time either. So what we did was we found our flights and we set up a payment plan over these 6 to 8 months where we paid monthly.
A little bit by month,
Airfordable.com. And it's a beautiful in that sense if you can plan it out. And we were doing this, we're paying it off. And once we're making the payments going into your first point, we were really, it made it more solid. So Airfordable is a great tool. Jeff is on it. He knows it. Jeff knows. So fast forward, we made it happen. So we moved, we stripped away everything and she's still teaching. She's still.
I was teaching English online. So we did have our online job set up, and, that was the first time we ever had online jobs. So that was a big adjustment. And then of course, moving across the world was a big deal. And just a couple months into when we were there in Manila, the Wi-Fi wasn't the best. So it just so happens I couldn't continue teaching and kind of had a quarter life crisis. Like, okay, what am I going to do now? Like freaking out. I went to school to be a teacher, all the things. And so he was like, well, Wave Enterprise was already made and we needed a website, we needed a social media presence. So why don't you just take this on? And I was like, okay, let me see if I can handle this. And
before we move on at the story, I kind of want to make a little teaching point and something she's really mastered since then. This is 2019. So it's over 3 years since then that we've been fully remote, fully digital nomad, is remotifying your lifestyle, remotifying your resume, getting. What we did was, even though she was still planning to teach online and that didn't work out, and that was the best blessing in disguise, but still what we did to prepare to work remotely, how we made our resumes attractive for remote work. And you actually have more knowledge in this.
So for example, the pandemic pushed a lot of businesses to work remotely. So some of you watching might be familiar with some remote tools like, Asana, Slack, all these things that
Monday.com, or is that something like that?
And so, nowadays, a lot of people do have this sort of knowledge, but just adding it to your resume, if you're thinking about getting a remote job, or, learning about the new programs that might be, jobs are asking you to know, might be helpful as well. And you can always just take, a couple hours a week and YouTube it and then just put it on your resume. And that's what remotifying your resume is.
Proficient in Asana, or proficient in project management softwares, or, these things, learn analytics. That's great. That's great too. So if you are somebody who's thinking of not just traveling the world, but thinking of working from home, or kind of taking control over your time and your energy, your freedom, in that sense, your freedom, then remotifying, it's 2022. Look at us. We're online right now. This is what we're doing. So I just wanted to stop and talk about that, because she's, and, we'll plug in all of our stuff at the end of this. If you have any questions, we definitely will answer anything about remotifying your resume and all that stuff. So, and she does. Okay. So from then, teaching an identity crisis. So now, we're going to make the story shorter, and we're just now still pre-pandemic, just learning who we are as Wave Enterprise. We're travel vlogging. We're still traveling, making these experiences. But having fun and practicing our audio and visual. I'm still doing music, I'm still doing the audio, but we're coming together on these vlogs, putting them together, learning transitions, and it does help. I have a degree in radio TV, so I studied these things, so I was able to bring that back, and I didn't even expect that. So when the teaching thing didn't work out and we started vlogging and we started doing all this stuff that I learned in college started flooding back, and it was so fun and aligned, and it was very good in flow. So we're having fun, and this is still just us practicing. Her graphic design, she's making covers, we're making all the vlogs and videos. We're just having fun but practicing. And I would like to say one thing that I've learned, and this is an audio visual piece, and I was thinking about stuff. What do I talk about as far as technicals and teaching? You can't really, I'm not sharing a screen or anything, but audio and visual, you're telling a story. Like vlogs really helped us learn this. Like it really does help if you could plan some things out. Like when we planned out vlogs, we have a beginning, middle, end for each scene.
Yeah, when we don't plan it out, it's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess. But when you think of it in terms of stories, you want your transitions on point. You want, I've got to say the audio on point, or you're going to want, it at least thought through so it's in a cohesive way. And those are the little nuances as far as audio is concerned, like adding reverb at the end so it just like tails away, or like fading out the music. These like the transitions, those are really important if you are in the audio visual space and you're just starting. Stories, things being in a cohesive manner, knowing that, like being cognitive of transitions, being cognitive of what is this in the bigger picture of things, where is this in the beginning, middle, end of the scene, or in the entire piece. And we've got to learn this during our vlogging and during our graphic design and stuff like that.
And to kind of tie in just like our lifestyle of traveling, we've really gotten inspired by just where we live to create content. And,
Facts.
Some of you watching, maybe can't travel all the time, but just aligning with yourself and your lifestyle and your schedule to make content that's fun is definitely something that is important, because whatever you're putting out, people on the other side of the screen are going to feel that. So if you're like, okay, Thursday, I'm going to create all this content, but you wake up and like you stub your toe and like
you just are having a bad day,
then you force yourself to make this content and people are going to feel it. So just really getting in alignment with your content, and that's something that we've learned how to do throughout our travels as well.
Jeff just made a good point. He said some of the best videos he did just walking the dog and talking. It's so true. Like some of the best music or some of the best content we've made is just like
very simple,
or it's just like we're doing our day-to-day things, or it's very spontaneous. So we're very big on aligned content, and we're very big on even though this is digital and virtual, like you can feel us through the screen. And I'm sure it's opposite. Like when we speak with Jeff, like it's magnetic. We feel things through the screen. So if we're not feeling good that day, we know if we make a video and piece it together and post-production and still make the transitions on point, you can make it as professional as possible, but they're going to feel that bad day if you just did it just to do it. Like we have a sixth sense. We're humans. We can understand these things. Like if dogs can do it, we can do it. So if you're having a bad day, just don't feel forced. Don't feel forced to have to put content out. That's one thing we are really big on. Like
it's definitely a balance, because sometimes you have to push through.
Sometimes you have to push through.
Yeah.
And conjure up good emotions and learn how to do that. And that's kind of deeper. Yeah. But on the surface, like if you're not feeling good one day, like let it go. That's one thing we've really learned. Is that it's very transferable.
And going back to just remotifying your resume and kind of like getting into a remote job, or maybe just transitioning into a new job. Something that I found helpful was just networking online. I really didn't, I was always part of these Facebook groups in high school, but I never really understood the power of it until I started becoming a remote worker and was like, oh my gosh, there's a Facebook group for anything and everything out there. So whatever your industry or niche or, you know, passion is, there's something out there for you. So if it's a Facebook group or Reddit, you know, Slack, whatever it is, just networking and talking to people, asking questions, like to someone who has a job position that you want. Or if you're trying to start your own business, talking to more entrepreneurs and just asking them questions.
Just what Jeff said, being a human. Like,
yeah.
That's the biggest point too. And like people that, like I'm saying, the transferring, people know if you're just trying to like get numbers and talk to people, like,
or like sell
something, or just make this connection because you have your own personal selfish agenda. Or, but people also like know if you're just being human, like,
and
that's a great point.
They want to help. Most people want to help.
And most people want to connect.
Yeah.
I do. Like, humans want to connect. Like, that's why we're doing this. Like, so if you're genuine and you have a genuine interest in something that someone else does too, it makes it very, and you'll be amazed at some of the connections. We have some friends, Jeff included. We have people that we've met online that we haven't even seen in person that I feel closer than people that I've known my whole life. And that's no lie. And if you tap into these groups and these communities and you become a human, yeah, it is coming. It is coming. And you come as a human. These are
helpful.
These are things that, you know.
And, you know, aside from networking in groups, just saying yes to opportunities. Like, I wouldn't say like my very first remote opportunity was something that I loved.
And definitely not doing now.
Yeah, but it's something that helped me to get to where I am today, and it was necessary to do. And so you don't have to love your first remote job, and you don't have to stay with it forever, but it's better to just say yes to a lot of things at first, just so you can see what you like, see what you don't like, so that you can narrow it down and, you know, keep pushing forward from there.
That's still remote work though. You know, Jeff said he was hired to do a sex chat.
Oh my gosh.
Remotify your resume, man.
I think aside from getting a remote job, some other tips that we wanted to give everybody for traveling and meeting new people and getting inside of different cultures is work away. So we did 2 workaways this year, both in Mexico. The first one was in Puerto Vallarta, and basically,
to backtrack, work away. It's one word. It's an app.
It's an app.
You can make a profile on these workaways. It's social media kind of. It's a social media kind of thing. There it is. Exactly.
Work away. Yeah.
You make a profile, and you can find. All over the world, you can find these places that are looking for volunteers who, in exchange for any given service, they're either looking for something or they welcome what you bring.
Yeah.
That they offer you room, board, food. Sometimes there's paid ones. It depends on what you're digging through. But this is a great way if you're like going back to our original, talking about our story leading up to, you're like, I don't have money, you know, affordable, first of all. And then work away is another good thing where you don't have to worry about rent. You're putting in 20 hours a week.
I mean,
it's a part-time.
Really depends.
It depends. There's a lot. There's some less, but it's like Monday through Friday. I think we did like 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, where we were at a hostel, Puerto Vallarta, which was really awesome. It was neat. We got to do social media for them. And
it was really cool because we instantly had a community of people that were also volunteering, and also people at the hostel that we just became close with. And so especially if you're doing solo travel, it's a great way to meet new people, because there's probably going to be other volunteers as well, and other
solo travelers.
Yeah. And it's just a great way also to like really get in the community and the culture of a new place. Like I can say, you know, we got married in Mexico, but like going back and being in the culture and learning about it firsthand through natives was like amazing. So doing that. And then our second workaway was in Bacalar. So for anyone who doesn't know where that is, it's 5 hours south of Cancun. It is amazing. It's a laguna.
It's
fresh water.
I forget the Spanish translation, but it's the Laguna of 7 colors. And it's like has 7 hues of blue. It's crystal clear. It's amazingly beautiful. And we did our work. We did one of the number one boat tour. You can even Google this. It's on TripAdvisor.
In Bacalar.
In Bacalar, the number one boat tour in Bacalar. Amir at Vintour. Shout out Amir. Shout out to the whole crew there. They're amazing people. They become family with us. That was our second workaway. So if you've never heard of Bacalar, we highly recommend it. First of all, they have these beautiful cenotes in the Laguna. A lot of great boat tours. Amir Vintours, we highly recommend. And
so we were basically just on a boat every day, and we were talking to guests and taking pictures and videos.
Drinks where they had the whole bar for the guests.
Pretty awesome.
Because it was like a tour where they had a limited drink. So like people were getting drunk, having a good time. We were taking pictures, playing music. It was a great time. And we found this on Workaway. And we have people that we call family for the rest of our lives because we met them through Workaway. So that's a great way to travel, a great way to tap into whatever community you decide to fall into. And I actually didn't get any seasickness. Did you get any seasickness? No, we got used to it. I think we're on the boat every day. No seasickness. Hey, whatever. But from then we went home, and we're literally leading up to like us talking to you now. And
we picked Guatemala, where we're at now. It's called Lake Atitlan. And we picked this place because a lot of people in Mexico on the boat tour were like, hey, have you been to Guatemala? And we were like, no. So we've been tending to do that a lot, where we just hear recommendations for wherever we're at and then just go to the next place. So that's where we're at now. And we are not doing any workaways right now, but
now we're
working on our business.
Full-fledged ahead. Plates are full with clients, which is a blessing, and we're learning a lot. And along the way, during our workaways and just during our time leading up in the Philippines, we've had so much time and space and creative stimuli in our environment to just create. To create. If you are creative, just create. It's good to have goals. It's good to have an agenda in mind, but it's also just good to play and create. And that's what we allowed ourselves to do. And then after we did enough of that, we were able to kind of hone it and manipulate it into a direction. And now it's a URL. Now it's a link. And now it's things that we actually offer. We see the world we see the world shining a little brighter because we're here adding value to the marketplace. Like our clients,
I want to add something to what you're saying. So we, really struggled for a little bit to find our unique selling point and to also learn how we can mush our skills and experiences and everything together. So, doing these workaways really helped us to work together because for a while we were working where I would have social media clients and he would have audio engineering clients. And we were like, okay, we've got to fix something. We've got to come together. And so doing this workaway really showed us that we're really great when we're together and we're creating content. On more than one occasion, people were like, you guys are magic when you're creating content. This is amazing.
And even crazier is that we've had these accounts, we manage them. So we still look back and check to see how they're doing. And the content that performed the greatest, not just when we were there, but when their whole account, their highest performing post was when we were together
creating the content,
hyping everybody, hyping the team up, making everyone feel like a family.
And we, for example, would really pick pieces of content and reels that we can come together and have the whole crew, the whole boat crew, or the whole Hustle by Arta team doing something.
And those are our greatest memories from it. The most
everyone
fondest
felt
memories.
Included.
Yeah. We sat down and we were like, wow, we're good together.
So basically, it takes a while to find your unique selling point. And it did for us. We both had to work on our skills individually. And then eventually we came together and it took a workaway. So, traveling is always something we're going to promote. We're always going to advocate for it. I think you can learn so much from traveling about yourself, about things that you didn't even know that you liked, just experiencing a a new type of food. Like maybe you didn't know that you liked, you know, tortas, but you really
maybe you didn't even know, right, about tortas, or music, or a language. We're like doing Duolingo like crazy every day, and we're like getting more and more obsessed. Torta is a Mexican sandwich, so it's basically a taco on a sandwich.
Just YouTube Mexican street food, and you'll find tortas.
It's just this authentic taco on this amazingly soft and toasted bread, and it's
so good.
torta. Yeah. Tacos, tortas. That's our jam. So I mean, I really want to say also, if you can't travel, trial and error. If it's creatively, if it's finding who you are in the corporate world, if you're in the corporate world, or if you're not feeling the corporate world, trial and error, try things. Yeah. Try things and try it over and over again until you get good. And then you find out you don't like it. Like you never know. And
if you are at a loss with your creativity, rearrange your house or your room, like switch your stuff up, because sometimes the energy just gets like clogged and you just need to like have a new perspective. And
it's almost as good as traveling.
Yeah, especially if you work from home, like it's a great just shift. So
and get a furry animal.
Yeah.
Get a furry animal. This is Boca. This is our baby. And
she's pretty well traveled.
We're coming up on a half hour. And I think we've tapped out of all the resources that we had in our brain.
So to recap, Workaway, there's also other programs out there like house sitters where you can watch someone's pet and stay in their house.
Yes. Air affordable if you want to pay increments towards a plane flight.
Yes.
Remotifying your
resume, saying yes to a lot of opportunities at first.
Trial and error.
Yes. Tap into your online network, find your niche, find your crew, find your people.
Be a human. Thank you, Jeff. and travel if you can.
Yeah.
If not, take a walk outside when it's nice out. Yes. Rearrange your furniture, change it up. Traveling is just a way to shake up the mainframe and change it up, and that's what we need is variety. When we get used to stuff, the days start going by too fast, and then you get old and you wonder what happened.
Yeah. So brush your teeth with your left hand tonight. If you brush it with your right, usually, or switch your couch to a different side.
I like it.
Or book a flight to go somewhere new.
Oh man.
And you can find us at Wave Enterprise Co. on Instagram. That's Wave with just one E connected to the Enterprise.
Shit.
And just ask us any and all questions that you have.
Yeah. That's it, Jeff. Take it away. It's your show.
No, you guys are freaking amazing. You're phenomenal. You are magnetic, and I love you. Like,
we love you too.
Really, truly. I appreciate you coming on today because, I've been doing the nomad thing locally, right, in the U.S., and in the RV and stuff. And I did all kinds of really lots and lots. It took me 5 years between me saying, okay, I think I might want to do this to being able to actually do it.
Yeah.
So, it was a lot of the vlogs. It's a lot of following Robin at Creativity RV. If there's no one else I will plug for the rest of my days, it's that woman. Right down to she even talked me into getting to my fifth wheel,
right?
Which I realized that I don't even want. Then I realized, no, that was not a good idea. But you never know what's going to happen when you're out there, and you're going to run into. I found out I love Tennessee. I can honestly say that it would be one of the places I would think about moving to, because it does have seasons ish, but the seasons aren't bad. Like the winter was like, okay, 3 weeks, it's cold. All right, I don't like this. Okay, I don't like. Okay, oh, it's done. Wait. Okay, I could deal with. I was wearing. I could do this. It was like 55 degrees for New Year's. I was walking the dogs with a t-shirt on. So
that's not bad.
Right. You're not complaining at that point.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
So, you don't know what you're going to do. And there's actually a lot of brain science in the whole brushing your teeth with the wrong hand.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know you're hip. I know you get
think
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It changes everything. It really does. Not too long ago, I had some work on my one hand and had to really work on, and I'm like, stop, stop, just stop. So folks, again, check them out. There is a link somewhere, depending where you're seeing this, up or down. All right. And so that you can actually check them out, because they are amazing people doing some amazing work in the world. And I just so appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you for being my first guest.
Yes, and we're so honored, and we're so honored. Thank you. Let's keep this going.
Definitely. All right, folks. So join us next week for for our Tuesday talks. It will probably be me again. Yay! We're back to me. We're talking about changing the conversation of you, and really that comes from our conversation. What had happened is the week. So we had our podcast, and then that week I had one of my really good friends attempt suicide. I had another friend tell me that he was nothing unless he was being used sexually, and I had another friend tell me that he was raped, and it didn't matter because he was a slut anyways.
Wow.
And really, we were talking about knowing who you are and having that firm foundation in our podcast, and I'm like, okay, this has to, like, I can't let this go. I'm obviously being called from that moment, you know, and so really we're going to continue the conversation about our conversations about us, right? And how to change those within your community, within who you are, the conversations you're having with yourself, changing your addictions to the apps, your relationship with the apps, because let's face it, if you're single out there, you're probably using one. You know, I know you're married. I'm not getting either one of you in trouble. No.
All apps though. Instagram counts too. You know.
Yeah.
WhatsApp. You know, all the apps. But
all the apps.
I love that you're. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. No, it's like, yeah. I just love you guys, and guys, join me next week. Check out orangedragonflycenter.com for more information on the changing the conversation of you. Check out the Wave Enterprises link. It's a little funky, or I would say it. It's up there somewhere. And know that you guys are loved. I'll see you all soon.